opened up a
if you tried to open one in the future
in
and then
600
go back and open
AD
it
and then
again
go back 1000 AD, it was already empty. But if you didn't open it in the past, it would be like if you just touched it but didn't actually open it, it would be powered up when you came back to it in the future.
But then you could still go back into the past and get it again.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird, but...
Yeah, Chrono Trigger's take on the whole
pretty
time
fast
paradox
with
thing
that
was
shit,
they didn't really have a take on it.
If you get bogged down in that shit, who cares? That's nuts.
And that was what made it so
it's
fun.
Like, what happens if you go back in time and kill your own father? Whatever, who cares?
Chrono doesn't have a father.
Right, exactly. Perfect.
He's a Christ figure. He was born immaculately, conceived, by the Holy Spirit or whatever, by the Sakaguchi spirit. I don't know. By the Hori spirit, the Yuji Hori
by a box
spirit.
of cats, I think. Nope.
So the cat.
Stop this right now. It's real. We got to reel that one in.
Okay. I thought Hori spirit was pretty funny. Though.
We're gonna get angry. The Hori. Oh,
yeah.
That's like the ending of A Christmas Story.
That's a triple entendre there, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Good job.
Should we all break out in Hori Night? Silent Night?
Let's not. I think we might actually have touched on everything I wanted to talk about. Oh, the battle system was one thing we didn't.
The active time battle.
Active time battle system version 2.
Played an RPG. I'm kind of done with RPGs for a while, but I still haven't played one with the battle system as interesting or as fun.
Because it was
fun.
Location based.
Yeah,
it was
location based, but it wasn't tactical. You didn't have to move your characters around. They kind of moved automatically in battle based on what they did.
So it was just choosing what the best skill was given your layout.
Right. Yeah, and their attacks had certain areas of the board that they were going to hit. So straight lines or wide areas around them.
Well, the thing is, each character only had 8 skills. Like, it's a very limited number of skills. Each character had a set of skills.
Right.
That was stupid. A limited set of skills. Like, it was predetermined, and they developed them as they leveled up. But the trick was that they could do combo attacks with other characters.
Right. And how much the dynamic changed depending on who you had with.
Right.
Yes.
This is a game where you had 6 different characters, and the 3 that you chose, well, 7 different characters depending, but the 3 that you chose actually made a significant difference to your battle tactics because every character interacted with the other characters differently.
And you could play without the main protagonist.
Right.
Which was, like, totally mind-blowing.
Well, at some point in the game, you actually have to.
Well,
you don't have a choice.
You could, like, choose not to play as the silent hero if you didn't want to.
Yeah, you didn't see that in very many games, and it gave you a lot of flexibility. You wouldn't think that with each character
having... That actually became a cliche after Chrono Trigger. That was like a regular thing.
Like, Cloud's in a live stream coma. Better fight with someone else while he's
listening to emo shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, is there a section where Squall isn't
I'm pretty sure there is, isn't there? No, I hope there is.
I don't think so.
There should have been.
Like the whole game?
Yeah, I kept him whipped down the whole game.
Well, actually, yeah, a lot of RPGs after that stopped having main characters. I guess Final Fantasy 6 did that first, but it was unusual for your main character to be dead for a portion of the game.
Right.
Yeah. I really, like, that's the one thing about RPGs that always gets me. It's like the battle systems, if they have like random battles or for whatever else reason, they're just like so overly complicated. They get so tedious, and I want to get through the story, but I don't want to fight all this shit to level up. And Chrono Trigger, like, their battle system is just like so simple and streamlined, and yet it has all this depth, like, depending on...
You never have to grind.
Yeah, and like even the enemies, depending on which enemies you're fighting and which combo of the enemies are on the screen, they do like different things. So like when you first go to the prehistoric era, there's those big baboon-looking things, and if they have those rock guys next to him, you had to kill those first, or else he could pick them up and throw them for more damage than he would normally do in a regular melee.
Although if you attacked the volcanoes, you had to kill them right away because they would wake up and get pissed off and start erupting at you.
Yeah, so all those kind of little things add a lot of depth to the combat system, but without the whole, like, oh, I have to put this, like, mana bauble on to, like, make my sword fire and then do all this weird shit, and
the fights were interesting, and you didn't have to put up with a lot of them. I mean, if you skipped a lot of fights and just went ahead, usually you get enough XP from the first fight in the next section that you managed to survive to catch up without having to worry about it. But there was so much personality in them. I mean, the animations in the things you were fighting were really detailed too. There were tons. They'd make faces when you hit them. You know, they'd catch fire if you hit them with something else.
They don't stand in a line and just sit there and take
it. And their behavior would change sometimes. There was the guys with the wooden hammers, and burn them. That was the classic example. But there was lots of stuff like that. You know, it made it not. It wasn't a chore.
Exactly.
And that's why I don't play RPGs, because I hate that shit. It bores me.
So what do we not like about Chrono Trigger? Is there anything that we dislike?
I knew this was coming.
Think hard.
I mean, well, because of because of the fact that battles are not random, it kind of does make it very rigidly linear. Like on second playthroughs, you know when all of this shit is going to happen.
It is linear, but it isn't, because at least in the second half of the game, you do have a lot of freedom to kind of go into whichever area you want,
Once
do
you
the
get
things you
epic.
want. I mean, yeah, the first half of the game is pretty much set in stone,
Right.
But it does branch out a lot toward the end.
Those encounters
you
are going to
can't
be
really-
the same place, but I mean,
Yeah.
is it really so much better that it could happen on my second step instead of my third?
Yeah, I mean, you can't customize your characters because, they just have the rigid, I'm just throwing some stuff out there. I love Chrono Trigger. I'm just saying that to create this really coherent, cohesive experience, they had to strip a lot out. And so it is pretty much the same game every time you play through it.
That's
almost
true, but
exactly.
at the same
They
time,
did have those side quests. Were those optional? I think they were optional, but
They were
everyone always did them
optional.
anyway.
well, there were lots
They
of
were
things
worth
you could
doing.
do, like, fight the Son of Sun, that you didn't have to do, but if you did them, then you'd always get some really rad accoutrement that you could attach to your characters.
Yeah, finishing